Hey guys, it's 7S26 Simon. Today we're going to look at the LFI room on TryHackMe. This is a really fun, interesting box. I've actually just completed this. But here goes. I'm going to go through this one again purely because it's really fun, really good. So you eventually load up the website, and what we're looking for is something where we can maybe utilize to get a directory traversal. So what I decided to do at this point was to just proxy through Burp Suite. And then if we go over to intercept, let's just capture that request. Now, what I wanted to do was send it to repeater. And essentially, if I come over here, we can see that we can request our page. But what happens if I start to traverse the directory just a little bit? Well, if you go down, we can see that we've got a whole bunch of information. We've got a user here called Falcon. So let's take a look at some of Falcon's information. So let's change the directory to home Falcon, and let's take a look at his .bashrc file. If we scroll down to the bottom, we can see that there's a little bit of information in here. Nothing really useful stands out, to be perfectly honest. So what we're now going to do is start looking for information that we can maybe use as part of this attack. So let's send this over to Intruder. I did do this in the my previous run through. So what I actually did at this point was I'm now home Falcon, and here I'm just creating a variable, and we've got a bunch of payloads. So if I hit start attack, we can see that it's essentially looked for different files. The one we want is the actual private key for the RSA, which we can see here. It actually fails, but it looks like it's failed because of the formatting on this one. So let's send this over to repeater. Let's hit go. No such file or directory. So we actually want a dot. We want a folder is what we want. We want dot SSH. Let's start the attack again. And then let's look at the ID RSA. And if we look at the response, we can see a gigantic RSA private key, which is really interesting. So if we copy out the private key into a file, such as this one here, what this basically means is that the user Falcon has set up a private key, so we can now enter the directory. So let's clear this, and if we SSH using that private key, it should mean that we do not need a password. So if I do an ls, there is the first flag. But now we want to escalate the privileges. So if we just do a sudo l, we can see that this file here doesn't require a password to run as root. So if we just do ls l bin journal, we can see anyone can execute the file and it will actually run as root. So if we do sudo bin journal ctl, and then all we need to do is escalate our privileges, you can see we are now running as root.